Welcome to WT History. In this series, we list all the major events that happened in the world in a year, starting from 1776 to 2024. On March 16th, congressional Republicans gathered to choose their presidential candidate. Secretary of State James Monroe emerged victorious with 65 votes, defeating Secretary of War William Crawford's 54 votes. This nomination set the stage for the Era of Good Feelings, a period of one-party rule that would dominate American politics. On April 10th, Congress chartered the Second Bank of the United States, stabilizing the nation's finances after the War of 1812. In Philadelphia, Reverend Richard Allen and fellow African-American Methodists made history by establishing the African Methodist Episcopal Church, the first black Christian denomination completely independent of white churches. On the distant frontier near Winnipeg on June 19th, the Battle of Seven Oaks saw the Northwest Company defeat the Hudson's Bay Company in a violent clash over control of the lucrative fur trade. From August 12th to 24th, American officials negotiated the Treaty of St. Louis with the Council of Three Fires tribes. Such treaties would become the blueprint for westward expansion and Native American displacement. When Americans went to the polls from October 25th to November 6th, the outcome was never in doubt. James Monroe crushed Federalist Rufus King 183 electoral votes to 34, marking the effective end of the Federalist Party as a national force. On December 11th, Indiana became the 19th state, its admission signaling the relentless westward march of American settlement and the expansion of slavery's battleground. In the year's final weeks, from December 9th to 21st, the American Colonization Society was established. This group, supported by both slaveholders and abolitionists, promoted sending free blacks to Africa, a solution that satisfied few and troubled many. Amidst these historic events, Eliphalet Remington founded his arms company in New York. What began as a firearm manufacturer would evolve into the Remington Typewriter Company, an unexpected twist in America's Industrial Revolution. On January 6th, Tsar Alexander I banished the Jesuits from Russia's capitals, a crackdown on Catholic influence in Orthodox lands. Just 3 days later, Ludwig van Beethoven won a bitter custody fight for his nephew, Karl. The composer's triumph in Vienna's courts revealed the tortured genius behind the symphonies. February 10th saw a quiet succession. Friedrich Wilhelm inherited Schleswig-Holstein, founding the House of Glücksburg, a family that would one day crown kings of Denmark, Norway, and Greece. Rome's Teatro Argentina erupted in booze on February 20th at Rossini's The Barber of Seville premiere. The disastrous debut, caused by a rival's sabotage, would become opera's greatest reversal. Today, it's hailed as the quintessential comic masterpiece. As spring arrived, Louis XVIII reorganized France's intellectual elite on March 21st. The Institut de France split into 4 royal academies, including a revived Académie Française, to cement Bourbon cultural control post-revolution. London's Carlton House hosted a glittering match on May 2nd. Leopold of Saxe-Coburg married Princess Charlotte, heir to the British throne. Their union would tragically end in Charlotte's death, but Leopold's later reign in Belgium made him the Nestor of Europe. France's ultra-royalist chamber Introuvable struck at women's rights on May 8th, abolishing divorce, a Napoleonic reform. A quiet revolution came on June 4th, when Estonia's peasantry was emancipated from serfdom, one of Tsar Alexander's liberal gestures. King Louis XVIII dissolved the chamber Introuvable on September 6th, tiring of its extremism. Amidst Russian rule, the University of Warsaw opened on November 19th, a flicker of Polish enlightenment under occupation. The year closed with royal consolidation. On December 12th, Naples and Sicily merged under Ferdinand I, creating the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies, a volatile state that would bedevil Italian unification. Robert Stirling patented his heat-efficient engine in Scotland, a clean energy prototype. René Laennec invented the stethoscope in Paris, rolling parchment into a tube to hear a patient's heart, revolutionizing medicine. On March 1st, the brutal Gorkha War ended with Nepal's surrender. The Treaty of Sugauli forced Nepal to cede 1/3 of its territory to British India, creating borders that still define the region today. But it also birthed the legendary Gurkha warrior tradition that would serve Britain for centuries. As spring arrived, British traders established Bathurst, now Banjul, as a strategic Gambian trading post. This riverside settlement would grow into the capital of a nation, its colonial origins etched in its street plans. Summer brought horror off Senegal's coast. On July 2nd, the French frigate Medusa famously wrecked, leaving 147 souls on a makeshift raft. The 15 survivors, after 13 days of cannibalism and madness, became a national scandal, immortalized in Géricault's shocking masterpiece, The Raft of the Medusa. On July 9th, the United Provinces of South America, spanning modern Argentina, Uruguay, and beyond, declared independence from Spain, lighting the fuse for Latin America's liberation wars. On August 14th, Tristan da Cunha, 1,500 miles from any continent, became British territory, ruled from distant Cape Town as a strategic Atlantic outpost. On August 27th, a combined British-Dutch fleet bombarded Algiers, forcing the Dey to release 3,000 Christian slaves in one of the 19th century's largest anti-slavery operations, a moral victory with complex colonial undertones. On October 21st, Penang Free School opened in Malaysia, the oldest English medium school in Southeast Asia, educating generations of leaders in Britain's growing Eastern Empire. On November 10th, the troopship Harpooner shattered on Newfoundland's cliffs, drowning 208 soldiers and sailors, a grim reminder of the Atlantic's deadly power. France resettled Saint-Pierre and Miquelon, the last fragment of its North American empire, securing a fishing foothold it still maintains today. Thanks for watching. Please like the video, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel for future episodes.